Hi, Fr Pierluigi.
Hello.
How are you?
Well?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
As well, yeah, thank you.
So to start us off, how did the discussions go today?
Well, it was interesting for me to hear what people had to say, because obviously I understand that I'm a priest, and so I have a way of looking at my community and the church that may be different from what other Catholics have, because they come from their stage of life, let's say, the state. So it was very interesting for me to listen to them and see what priorities they have in mind, what are their issues, and what are the things they want to discuss.
Yeah, I was sitting in on your workshop and I found it very interesting as well.
Thank you.
So what were some of the key takeaways
For me,
for the parish?
for the parish, well, I suppose that tonight people have been reminded that Jesus actually wants us to go out and share our faith in various ways, share his mission in various ways. So there are ways in which we serve others, and there are also ways in which we share really what we believe and our journey with Jesus. And I think that this is really basic. If people came away tonight with something in mind about this, and they are thrilled, let's say, to take one of these parts of several that have been given tonight, well, I think tonight would have been effective.
In your discussion tonight, you also talked about how important it is to invite people into our church, like you said before. How do you think we should go about doing this?
I think that we should first of all listen to others, because all your friends, neighbors, people you meet, all of them have a story, and all of them relate to God in some way. It's interesting that we often think that in our environment many people are atheists, and we think with that label that they are not open to God. But if we look at surveys, when people who define themselves atheists are asked, for example, if they go to church, some of them are regular members of church, and some of them pray at least once a week. Many of them have been open to discuss their way of thinking of God. And so, at times we think we cannot discuss our faith with others because they may not accept it. But by and large, people are open to discuss this. They have their own opinions, but that's not the point really. The point is for us to listen and to also ask them further questions, so that when they clarify what they mean for us, they clarify for themselves too. If a person tells you, I'm an atheist, and you ask them, what do you mean by atheist? Well, probably no one ever asked them that question, and they do not know exactly what they mean. They have to think. And once they start thinking, they may realize that after all, they are not atheists. Just because they say, oh, what's an atheist? So you don't believe in God at all? No, I don't believe that there is a sort of being that made the whole universe. So is that... So then they start thinking, okay, then I'm not an atheist, really. It's just fashion to say that I am.
In summary, what is evangelization and why is it so important?
Evangelization means that I give other people the opportunity to share my personal friendship with Jesus. I allow them to enter into my life, and I help them to see that Jesus is already there in their life. I often like to say that when we do evangelization, it's like a midwife. A midwife does not make the baby. The baby is already there. A midwife only helps the baby to come to life. Well, our task is that Jesus is already in the life of those people. My task is to listen so carefully that I can see where Jesus is already present, and I let them know. And they may be surprised to find that they are already somehow in love with Jesus without them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. You also said that you have to be here because you love Jesus. In some way, you don't have to come to church to fall in love with Jesus.
You may find Jesus in many ways. During the lockdown, when churches were closed and people could not come to church, and many people had been confined to their homes, there were people who actually went online, watched movies about Jesus, looked for churches, they saw online services, and once the lockdown was over, they actually said, hey, I want to go and see it in real life. We found people in our churches that were never there before. Why did they come to church? Because actually, Jesus never told us, come to me, and it's just between you and me. He actually started a community. Jesus made himself available in the church, which is the Christian community. If I want to find Jesus, I won't find Jesus in theory. It will never happen. I find Jesus in the community that there is. He said, wherever two or three are gathered in my name, there am I in their midst. That's what I can find. So I can meet Jesus away from the church. But if I want to journey with Jesus, ultimately, at one point, I'll have to be with God.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bethany.